Hey guys, I'm back with another video here to review the Amazing Spider-Man, which passed the 10-year mark of this film. Came out, I believe, July of 2012 or May of 2012. I remember when this film came out, I was so hyped for it. Seeing the teaser trailers, I was so hyped for it, and I remember seeing this with a couple of my friends from my childhood, and a lot of people weren't too hyped about it. I remember a lot of people were crapping on the suit and how it looked. In my personal opinion, I thought that the suit was actually pretty decent looking. I mean, I thought it was pretty badass at the time. However, there are better looking suits. However, I think that the suit of this film was just an original take and a different look on it, and obviously there were a lot of people not happy about it because they were still hung up on Tobey Maguire and how we didn't get a Spider-Man 4, so they rebooted everything. And unfortunately, that this made the cancellation of one of the best Spider-Man shows ever spectacular because they wanted to keep the film rights. So they rebooted it, and if they didn't, they would have to give it to Disney. And you knew that wasn't going to happen. However, going back and looking back at this film, analyzing it, when this film first came out, I loved it. I actually thought it was better than the first Spider-Man for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe just because I just wanted to disagree with Sam Raimi fans or Tobey Maguire fans. But there are a lot of faults with this film. I mean, I still enjoy it as an overall Spider-Man film, but the fans complaining about Andrew Garfield's too cool, or to be Spider-Man. I mean, to be Peter Parker. He makes a great Spider-Man, but as Peter Parker, he's too cool and stuff like that. Peter Parker doesn't carry around a skateboard. Those are the same people that don't read the Spider-Man comics and just go off what they see with the Tobey Maguire films, which is why it's important to read the comic books. His comics, his villains were based mainly on the Ultimate comics, while the Peter Parker, his version of Peter Parker was mainly based on a combination of the Ultimate and the mainstream. And while Peter was kind of a nerd, he wasn't the Steve Urkel nerd that a lot of fans think that he is. He actually got a lot of chicks. A lot of chicks had huge crushes on him. And while Flash did tease him every once in a while in school, he always stood up for himself. So it wasn't like he was being shoved in lockers all the time and being beat up on every day. He stood up for himself, and he actually got a lot of women. And in this film, I'm actually glad they switched up the love interest and made it Gwen Stacy, because I feel like she's a very important part of Peter's life. And still to this day, I still think that Gwen Stacy is his best love interest in all the live action films. And he and Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone have great chemistry together. The majority of this film was, I mean, the stuff with Peter's parents, it's sprinkled out. It's not really that big of a deal. It's more like forced down your throat in the second one, but we don't really need to know about them because it's either they're scientists or they used to be agents at Shield. That's all we really need to know, and that's all fans really care about. But the Lizard as a main villain, I feel like he's better as a supporting character, because him wanting to, the ultimate plan of him turning everyone into lizards, kind of lame. I will say he's a very underrated villain, and eventually Sam Raimi was going to use him in his films in Spider-Man 4, I believe, but that didn't pan out so well. So they used the lizard in this film. It was okay, but there were a lot of stupid decisions that Peter made in this film, and would still bother me. Like how he became Spider-Man still bothered me. He seemed like he became Spider-Man out of revenge and not out of him wanting to help people. And the way Uncle Ben went out, the way Uncle Ben died was really stupid, and it wasn't even tragic. I mean, Peter as Spider-Man in this film, I mean, Captain George Stacy was kind of right. I mean, he was kind of being out of control and being a dick as Spider-Man, but ultimately in the end that he realized that, that, I mean, he had a change of heart, obviously. And what I loved about the love interest in this film, comparing Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane Watson in the Sam Raimi films, unlike Mary Jane, Gwen was not a damsel in distress, as you would say. She actually helped Peter out a lot as Spider-Man. I mean, if it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have been able to defeat Dr. Connors and revert him back to his normal form. But I mean, there are a lot of people complain about the suit. I didn't hate it. It could have been better. They definitely improved on it a lot more on the second one. Now, while a lot of fans were complaining about the web shooters, that just goes to show that they didn't either read the comics or they didn't watch the cartoon series, because he's always had the web shooters. But this film is okay. I decided to review it because they not only has it been 10 years since this film came out, but No Way Home is coming, re-releasing, and they just put it on Netflix. So yes, I think I'm going to give this film 3 stars. I think it's okay. It's still a pretty decent Spider-Man film. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this film. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.